In the meantime, Friederike had set a small pewter plate upon the table, with a child's knife and fork and a fresh napkin. At the same moment, the bell rang in the hall, and Heinrich opened the door to usher in a boy of about 7 years. "Good evening, Papa," cried the child, shaking the snowflakes from his fur cap. Hellwig took the fair head tenderly between his hands and kissed his son on the forehead. "Good evening, my boy," he said. "Well, did you enjoy yourself at your little friend's?" "Yes, but stupid Heinrich fetched me far too early." "That was Mama's wish, my child. Come here, Nathanael. Look at this little girl. Her name is Fee." "Nonsense. How can she be Fee? That isn't a proper name at all." Hellwig's glance rested, deeply moved, on the little creature whose mother's love had even turned her Christian name into poetry. "Her mother called her so, Nathanael," he answered gently. "Her true name is Felicitas. Is she not a poor, poor little thing? Her mamma was buried today. She will live with us now, and you will love her like a little sister, will you not?" "No, Papa. I do not want a sister." The boy was the very image of his mother. The features were handsome, the complexion of a singular healthy bloom, but he had inherited her ugly habit of dropping his chin upon his breast and peering upward from beneath his brow, which gave his face an air of cunning and slyness. Now he bent his head even lower, raised his right elbow as though in defiance, and from beneath it cast a malignant look at the child. The little girl stood there, nervously plucking at her frock. The bigger boy clearly overawed her. Yet gradually she came nearer, and, nothing daunted by his hostile attitude, reached with sparkling eyes for the toy saber at his belt. He thrust her angrily aside and ran to his mother, who had just re-entered. "I don't want a sister," he repeated tearfully. "Mama, send that naughty girl away. I want to be alone with you and Papa." Mrs. Hellwig shrugged her shoulders in silence and took her place behind her chair at the table. "Pray, Nathanael," she commanded in her colorless tone, folding her hands. At once the boy's 10 fingers interlocked. He drooped his head meekly and began a long grace. Under the circumstances, that prayer was the grossest profanation of a beautiful Christian custom. The master of the house did not touch his food. A flush of inward agitation burned upon his usually pale forehead. While he played mechanically with his fork, his troubled eyes wandered uneasily from one sullen face to the other. The little girl, by contrast, ate with an excellent appetite. Very carefully she slipped the sweets he had laid beside her plate into her small bag. "They are for Mama," she said confidingly. "She's so fond of bonbons. Papa always brings her great big bags full." "You haven't any Mama at all," Nathanael cried across the table, hostile as before. "Oh, that you don't know," the child answered hotly. "I have a much prettier Mama than you." A pang shot through Hellwig. He glanced in distress at his wife, and his hand half rose, as though to lay itself across the rosy mouth that so ill knew how to guard its own cause. "Have you seen to a little bed, Bridgetchen?" he asked hastily, in a soft, pleading voice. "Yes." "And where is she to sleep?" "With Friederike." "Would there not be space, at least for the first nights, in our bedroom? If you are willing to turn Nathanael out, yes, yes." He turned away in indignation and called the maid in. "Friederike," he said, "you will have this child in your care at night. Be kind and gentle with her. She is a poor orphan and has been used to a good, tender mother." "I'll not stand in the girl's way, Mr. Hellwig," replied the old woman, who had plainly been listening. "But I am honest folks' child, and in all my born days I've had nothing to do with play-actor people. One doesn't even know for certain if they were properly married." She cast a side glance at Mrs. Hellwig, clearly expecting approval for her bold remark. But Madame was just untying Nathanael's napkin and wore the expression of one who neither sees nor hears. "That is too much," cried Hellwig, deeply offended. "Must I learn only today that there is no pity in all my house? And you think you may be hard, Friederike, because you are honest folks' child? Well then, to ease your mind, those people were lawfully wed. But I warn you that from this day I shall be very strict with you, if ever I find you doing the child the least wrong." He seemed weary of contention. Rising, he lifted the little girl in his arms and carried her into the maid's small room. She let herself be put to bed without resistance and soon fell asleep, after praying in her sweet voice for Papa and Mamma, for the kind gentleman who would take her back to Mamma tomorrow, and for the tall lady with the wicked face. It was late when Friederike herself went to bed. Angry at having been kept up so long, she rattled about the little chamber without mercy. The child started up in terror, sat upright, brushed the tangled curls from her forehead, and sent a frightened glance round the smoky walls and poor furniture of the narrow, dimly lit room. "Mamma, Mamma!" she cried aloud. "Be still, child. Your mother isn't here." "Go to sleep again," grumbled the cook as she undressed. The little one looked at her in alarm, then began to sob softly. She was plainly afraid in the strange place. "Now the brat starts howling. That is all I needed. You'll be quiet at once, you play-actor's whelp." The woman raised her hand threateningly. The child hastily hid her head under the blanket. "Oh, Mamma, dear Mamma," she whispered. "Where are you? Take me into your bed. I am so afraid. I will be quite good and go to sleep at once. I've kept something for you. I didn't eat it all. Fee is bringing you something, dear Mamma. Or only give me your hand, then I'll stay in my own little bed and—" "Will you be still?" cried Friederike, rushing in fury to the child's bed. It did not stir. Only now and then a smothered sob came from beneath the coverlet. Long after the old cook slept the sleep of the righteous, the poor child still whispered, with all the roused longing of her little heart, her soft complaint for the mother who lay cold in the grave.